Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Nafula. If you've not subscribed to my channel, I highly recommend that you subscribe. But if you've already subscribed to my channel, I just want to say thank you for subscribing and thank you for watching my videos. I know I haven't been posting a lot of videos, one because I cut ties with my previous management. I didn't like the way they were doing things, so we cut ties, so I don't have time to edit. They were doing the editing and all that stuff, so I don't have time to do that. So I'll be posting videos when I get time. Usually YouTube is not my source of income, so I have a job and I have other things going on. So sometimes I just post videos for educational purposes, but not as a source of income. So I'll be posting videos, especially the DV 2026 is starting in October, especially about the photo requirements, how to apply, so that everybody is ready when October hits. You guys apply for the DV lottery. This video is gonna be about how to apply for the green card lottery. So if you want to know how to apply for the green card lottery from start to finish, then stick around and watch this video. I have a sample from an application a while ago, so I'm just gonna show it to you so that you can see how, what to expect on your application, how it looks like. I'm gonna make my screen a little bit bigger. So you'll be required to enter some numbers and letters here just to verify that you're a human and not a robot. So I'm just gonna show this to you, and then I'm gonna jump on a sample where we will complete the application together. This video is proudly sponsored by Shilero. Get 15% off if you use code NAFULA on shilero.com. So I have a page already pulled up where you can just do a sample. It looks a little bit different. It doesn't have the blue color, and the application form will look like whatever I just showed you before, with slight adjustments in there, if any. Okay, so we are looking at it, and you see here there's a disclaimer right here. Okay, so here it just says it's a full copy of the official DV lottery application form. You just use it for training. You will need to apply to the official website, which is dvlottery.state.gov, when it opens to take part in the lottery. So they're just telling you this is not the application form. It's just for training purposes only. You can fill in capital letters or small letters, whatever you prefer, whatever works for you. I'll just do mine in capital. You can do capital or small letters, it doesn't matter. So our last name is Mwangi. And then we'll say the first name is Lucy. And then our middle name will just say Nafula right here. So as you can see in the application, so if you don't have a first name, you click no first name. And if you don't have a middle name, you click no middle name. So don't put a name there if you don't have any. So if there's no boxes to check on the application, you can just leave it blank. But then if there's boxes that says no first name or no middle name, you can just check those boxes to just say. And then as you can see, I'll do a demonstration here. When I do no first name, this box is highlighted. So even if I click on it, I can't put anything there. So that's the purpose. Is if you check the box, it highlights this so that you can't put anything there. But then if you have your first name, which is Lucy, we'll go ahead and just put the name there. Okay, the next is gonna be gender. So for the gender, you're either male or you're female. So you either click the male if you're male. If you're female, it's female. So assuming Lucy is a woman, we'll just do female. Okay, and then just as something real quick that I forgot to mention. So if you have two middle names or two last names, you can try putting both of them together. Either if they're hyphenated, try putting a hyphen there. If not, try putting a space there. If it doesn't let you, you can just put them together. That's my recommendation. If you have two middle names, you can just put them in the same box. Okay, so with the gender, Lucy is a female, so we'll do female. And then the month, I will say they were born in August 3rd, 1995. So we'll just say Lucy is a female, born in August the 3rd, 1995. And I had a question about the order of the day and month. It doesn't matter. So you see here, it tells you month. So if it's a month, make sure you're putting a month here, not date. So regardless of what you do in your country, like maybe if your country starts with the day and then the month and the year, or it starts with the month, the day and the year, it doesn't matter. Make sure you're reading up here. Like if it says month, you put the month, day, you put the day, year, you put the year. Okay, and then a city where you were born. If you're born in Nairobi, Nairobi is a non-city. So you will put Nairobi here. If you are born in a place that's not in a city, it's important that you don't put something here that's not a city. So if it's a province, you see it says right here, do not enter the district, do not enter the county, do not enter the province, or do not enter the state. So it has to be a city. A place where you were born is not a city. Maybe Kangundo, Machakos, whatever, is not a city. So if it's not a city, don't put it here. There's a box here that says birth city unknown. So you're going to click on that and see what happens. Again, just like our name, if you say birth city unknown, it's not going to let you put anything here. But then because our birth city is none, we're assuming maybe Lucy was born in Nairobi. I'm going to use like a city that's very known. So we'll just do Nairobi there. But then remember again, if you're born in a place like Bungoma, which is not a city, click on this box here, birth city unknown, and then it won't let you put anything in there. Okay, so we'll assume that Lucy was born in Nairobi. So let's go ahead and put Nairobi there. And then here, country where you were born. You can be claiming eligibility from a country where you were not born. That's why this question is important. So assuming Nairobi is in Kenya, which it is, and Lucy was born in Kenya, so country where you were born, there's this drop down menu here, and then you just have to go to Kenya, which is K. They're in alphabetical order. So you just go all the way to Kenya and then you click that. And then it will bring you to Nairobi, Kenya. Country of eligibility for the DV program. So this one is asking you where you're claiming eligibility from. Okay, I'm just going to focus on eligibility. I already did a video about eligibility, so you might want to go watch that video because I explained details about eligibility on that video. So for the most part, all of you, if your country is eligible to apply, the country where you are born, you're supposed to claim eligibility from the country of birth. So if you're born in Kenya, you're born in Ghana, you're born in Zimbabwe, you're born in South Africa, all those African countries apart from Nigeria, you have to claim eligibility from the country where you are born. If you're born in a country that's not eligible to apply like Nigeria, that's when you claim eligibility on a different country. And I explained in that video, either you're married to somebody from that country that's eligible to apply, or maybe your parents, both your parents were born in a country that's eligible to apply. So if you're born in Kenya or you're born in Ghana, so for this question, country of eligibility for the program, it asks, are you claiming eligibility based on the country where you were born? And then you say yes. Okay, and then when you say yes, this box right here is highlighted, so you don't need to complete that. Okay, because it shows that you're claiming eligibility from the country where you were born. But somebody who was born in Brazil, Nigeria, India, those countries are not eligible to apply for the green card lottery. So when they ask you, are you claiming eligibility based on your country of birth, you say no, because your country of birth is not eligible to apply. But then if you married somebody from a country that's eligible to apply, then you select their country. So if your wife is from maybe Kenya, then you'll go here and then you claim eligibility as Kenya because you don't qualify to apply, but then your wife is from Kenya, so she qualifies to apply. In this situation, if you win this green card lottery, when you submit your DS-260, you have to include your wife because you have to enter the United States with your wife together. If you're claiming eligibility based off somebody else, you cannot enter the US alone because Nigeria doesn't qualify or India doesn't qualify. So you have to enter the US together. So eligibility, make sure you are claiming it from the country where you're born. Always claim eligibility from the country where you're born. Not like, okay, maybe you move to Germany or you move to another country and then you want to claim eligibility. You can't unless you're born there. So claim eligibility from your country of birth. Unless your country of birth is not eligible to apply, then in that case, you select eligibility based off if you're using a spouse or you're using your parents and their country of birth. But for the most part, these questions for most of you is gonna be yes. This application form here is like an old one which required the passport. This year there's no passport requirement. So this part will not be in the application. Hopefully, crossing our fingers, it will not be. But if it is, then I'm just gonna go over how to fill out this part, just in case it is, but it's not gonna be as far as I know. So you'll just put the last name on your passport, the first name, middle name. Again, if you don't have any of those, you just click, no. And then you put your passport number and then the expiration date, and then the country where you obtain the passport. And then some people are required not to, submit the passport information. There's some people, I guess, who are like refugees or they don't have a country, they don't have a passport. So some people, they have exceptions, or, some people are unable to obtain a passport because of the waiver or for different reasons. They can click this, which we'll click because we don't want to fill out all this. So next we'll look at the mailing address. So with the mailing address, we assume that you already uploaded your picture. So with the mailing address, it has different sections here. So if you see in care of, it means like somebody is in charge of collecting your mail or picking up your mail. So for example, you didn't have like a mailing address and then you decide to use your church as a mailing address or to use your school as a mailing address, you can put it here. So like here, like if you're going to, SDA, in care of SDA church. So this in care of, it means like you're not receiving the mail. Like if you have a friend and you use their address, you can put their name here. So it means like you will not be the one receiving the mail. But then if you be the one receiving the mail, then you can leave this section blank. And then over here, address line 1. So our applicant Lucy lives in Nairobi. So we're going to use the PO box address. So you can say PO, box 721. So that's the PO box address. And then address 2 is optional. The city is Nairobi. But then if they live in a different town, so here, like if you live in Nakuru, you live in Bungoma, you live in whatever you live at, Machakos, you can put here. So here you can put Nairobi. And then with the district, what district, what province, what state is whatever your PO box is at. Like for example, this one is easy because it's going to be in Nairobi, because Nairobi is a province. So if you have like a district or a county or a state, Nyanza is a province, so you can put province Nyanza, stuff like that. So you put your city here or a town, and then you put your province here. The reason why mine is Nairobi and Nairobi is because Nairobi is a city, and then at the same time is the name of a province. But put your address the way it appears on your letter. Like if you receive a letter, that's the address you're gonna put here. Okay, so let's do the zip code. So with the zip code, not every place has a zip code. You live does not have a postal address or a postal code. You don't need to enter here, and don't enter like +1 +254 +243. That's a phone, like if you want to make a call, but then it doesn't apply here. That's not the same code. So if you don't have a code, just select no postal code here. So when you select this, this is gonna highlight again, so you can't put, it won't allow you to put anything there. But then because Nairobi has a postal code, we'll enter it here. And Nairobi, I think, is 00100. So I think when I lived in Nairobi, that was the postal code, so I'm assuming it's still the same. So look at the way we filled here. So this one, if somebody else or a church or a school or somebody else will be in charge of getting the mail for you, you put in care of the person or the institution. Address 1 is PO Box, and then the city where you live at, the district, the county, the province, the state, and then the last one you put the postal code. So it's important that you put this information accurately. So if you're not sure, you can check, like if you receive a letter, like if somebody sends you a letter, what do they put there? And if you're unsure, you can actually go to the closest post office to where you live, and then you can ask them, okay, what's the city? Like they can give you all this information, and you can put it, you can prepare or get the information before filling the application. And then, okay, so the country will do Kenya, because, you know, Lucy lives in Kenya, so we're gonna go all the way to Kenya. So I'm gonna review the address for Lucy. So we put a PO Box address, we put the city, and I said, like, if you live in Machakos, you can put Machakos here. You know what province it is, the state, a county, a district, you can put all that here. And then the postal code is the code of the post office there. But not all countries or not all areas have the postal code. The zip code, like if you live in the United States, they use zip code, so you can use the zip code. If you don't have any of that, then you click no postal code. And then, like I said before, if you know that you're gonna click this box, don't put anything here, because otherwise it messes up the application. This one will stay here and it will stay highlighted. So just click this and make sure this box is blank. Okay, so let's go to the country where you live today. So Lucy lives in Kenya, so we're gonna do Kenya right there. Okay, let's do one more mailing address that's a little bit different from Nairobi, so that you guys can see the variation. Again, if it's a care of, you know what to do there. So for here, we'll just do PO. So we'll just put in the address, PO Box 755. So we'll do a city, we can do Siaya. So this usually is in the Nyanza province. So here you'll just do Nyanza. And then Nyanza has a postal code, so which is 040, I think 600. So this you can actually Google. If you're not sure, like I said, you can either go to the nearest post office and then just ask them the details of this, or you can Google the postal code of wherever you live. So this is Nyanza, and then the country here again, we'll go to Kenya, and then a country where you live today. It can be Kenya or any other country. And then again here you'll put in the phone number. So you can see how different this is. So this is a province in Kenya. This is a province in Nyanza, Kenya. His name, like it's known as Siaya. So PO Box 755, I just made up a PO Box address. The city or the town, you're gonna say Siaya. So if it's Kisumu, you're gonna put your Kisumu here. And then Nyanza province, and then you can just put whatever zip code is associated with this mailing address. And then don't forget to put the country. Okay, so when it comes to the mailing address, I'm just gonna do a quick review of an address of somebody who is in America. So we'll just do like here, you can say, so like here you can say 344 Smith Street, and then the city, you can say Liverpool, the province or state, you can say is in New York, and then the postal code and zip code, you can just say 13090, and then if you want you can put that there. And then the country, you can say United States of America, and the country where you live today, then it will be the same, United States of America. You can just say +1 315 287, whatever. I'm just making up a number, it's not a real number. So in care of, you don't have to put anything there. You're the one who's going to be receiving the mail, so you don't need to put anything there. So here, address, you have to put like the name of the street, because usually in America it's not like a lot of people receive mail at their houses, like at their home, so you don't have to have a PO box address. But some people have a home address and still have a PO box address. So if your address is a home address and that's where you gonna be receiving the mail, or that's where you live, like maybe if you're a student and you have to apply, you can use the address of the school. So you just have to put the street, you have to put the city, and then you have to put the province or state or whatever district, and then you have to put the postal code or the zip code, and then you have to list the country where you live, and then the country where you receive the mail. So some people, like maybe they want to receive the mail in the United States. Maybe they're visiting Kenya for like 9 months. So currently they live in Kenya, but then they want their mail to go to the United States address. That's where their permanent address is. Then they can say country where you live today. You can put Kenya here, but then you want to receive the mail in the United States, so you can put the mailing address here. So you can be like, your mailing address and the country where you live today can be different. You can be temporarily living somewhere for like a year, but then literally your permanent address or where you want to receive your mail maybe next year is in Kenya or in whatever country, Uganda. You can put the mailing address there. So your mailing address and the address where you live today can be different. And then what's the phone number? It says optional, but then I like to put something there. So we'll do 54722. So that's Lucy's phone number. I'm just making up numbers. So this is the code for Kenya, and then this is like a cell phone or a phone number in Kenya. So 722-567898. So put a phone number there. And then the next thing is the email address. So our email address, we've just said lucynekesa@gmail.com. That's the email address. And then with the email address, just make sure, like if you open it at the cyber, like if you're filling this form at the cyber cafe and they open this email for you, try to log into the email with that password. Make sure like it works. So the email address is in. So what is the level of education you've achieved as of today? So if you're gonna select primary, high school, no degree, or these two up here, for the level of education, you have to make sure that you have a high school degree. If you don't have a high school degree, then make sure you have like, you can use like work experience for at least, you have like 2 years work experience. So Here, highest level of education. This question is confusing to a lot of people. Why? Because it says high school degree. Because, here to graduate high school, they will classify that as high school degree. So in countries like Kenya, after you complete high school, you get a certificate, or maybe you get a diploma, or you get whatever you get in high school. As long as you completed high school, it's gonna be classified as high school degree. So if you went to high school and you finished your high school and received a certificate, you have to select high school degree. If you went to after high school, you went to college and then maybe you graduated with your diploma, because when you come to America, and you decide to take a university degree, that diploma, you can get some credits towards your university degree. So if you got a diploma, like maybe you went to a college, it's not a degree, you went to do some courses, or you graduated with a diploma. You want to select some university courses, because whatever you took in college can qualify as credits towards your university degree. If you have a master's degree, you can put it here, some doctorate level, the doctorate degree. So if you have a PhD, so it will allow you just pick one depending on whatever highest level of education is. Like if you have a PhD, a master's, and a bachelor's, the PhD is higher, so you're gonna select the doctorate. Okay, so if you have a high school and you have a university degree, the university is gonna be the highest. It asks you for the highest level of education. The highest. Don't select two. Some people are saying, okay, what do I select? I have all these degrees. Select what's the highest. Okay, so we'll assume here we have a master's degree. So we'll click Lucy has a master's degree. And then here, current marital status. There are a couple different relationships here that you can select. There's unmarried here. There's married. And my spouse is not a U.S. citizen or a lawful permanent resident. And then you can be married to a spouse who's a U.S. citizen or in the U.S. as permanent resident. You can also be divorced, widowed, or legally separated. So we'll review all of them. So unmarried means you're single. So in other words, even if you're living with somebody or you've been together for 20 years, but then you don't have proof of marriage, in other words, your marriage is not registered in your country. So it's not registered with the country, so you don't have a marriage certificate, then you should select unmarried. For example, if your girlfriend and you have children together, what you want to do, both you will put in an application separately and include the children, and she will also put an application, apply as unmarried as well, and include all the children. The only thing is, if you win, you will not immigrate with her. And then also if she wins, then she will not immigrate with you. So if you're currently unmarried and then you decide to apply as married, you need to ensure that if you win and then you go to the interview, you'll need a marriage certificate. And that marriage certificate, the date on the marriage certificate needs to be before you applied for the green card lottery. So if you apply today and you get married tomorrow, that won't work. So you need to be married either today or yesterday, going backwards, to use that marriage certificate. So in other words, if you don't have any proof of marriage, then apply as unmarried. And then it's important to understand that traditional marriages are not recognized in the United States. So if you did a traditional marriage, make sure if you need to get it registered, it needs to be registered and the date on the marriage should reflect before you placed the application. Okay, so the second one is married and the spouse is not a U.S. citizen. So this is for people who are legally married and they have a marriage certificate, as proof. Okay, the third one is married and my spouse is a US citizen or a US permanent resident. So if you select this third option here, married and my spouse is a US citizen or a permanent resident, you will not be required to enter their information. So both these two, the first one is married, but then the spouse is not a US citizen, so you'll be required to enter their information like their name, date of birth, where they were born and all that. But then if you're married to somebody who's a US citizen or has a green card already, so if a permanent resident means they have a green card already, you don't need to include them because they already have it. So if you win, they don't want it, like they can't immigrate because they're already here, if you know what I mean. So if your spouse, and it says down here, if your spouse is a US citizen or a lawful permanent resident, do not list him or her in your entry. Okay, let's go to the fourth one, which is divorced. If you're gonna claim as divorced or you're gonna apply as divorced, make sure you have paper from the court that shows you are divorced, either a divorce, I don't know if it's called a divorce decree or something like that, that shows the date you were divorced. So if you're divorced, you won't be required to enter the information of your spouse as well. Okay, if you're widowed, then also you need to provide proof, either a death certificate or something that shows that you're married to somebody and then they passed away, so you need documentation. And in this case also, you will not be required to enter the information of your deceased spouse. Okay, and then the last one is legally separated. So if you're legally separated, it means that you're still married. So you're still married, but then you don't live together. And then, as much as you don't live together, the reason why you don't live together is because you have a court order that says you're legally separated, like you're married, but you don't live together. So, if you're married and you're legally separated, if you enter your spouse information, your spouse will not be able to immigrate with you if you win. So also you can choose, like if you're legally separated, you don't have to enter the information of your spouse. So if you don't want to enter his name and the date of birth or whatever, you're not required to do that, because even if you entered him and you won, you won't be able to immigrate with him to the United States. So if you're not legally separated, like you're still married, but then you don't have a court order, like you just decided you had an argument and then you decided it's over, and then everybody lives, in their own place, but then you don't have a court order that acknowledges your separation, then you're still married. Or if you don't have legal separation from the court or a court order that says you're legally separated, then you need to apply as married. And if you apply as single and they find out, you can be disqualified. And it says right here, if you're not legally separated by a court order, you must include your spouse, even if you plan to be divorced before you apply for the diversity visa. Even if you know, like you're going to be divorced tomorrow, but then you don't have legal separation, you must include your spouse. And if you don't, failure to list your eligible spouse is ground for getting disqualified. So those are the marital status and the explanation. So this one, you don't have a marriage certificate at all, apply as unmarried. This one, your spouse, both of you have nothing to do with the United States. Both of you are not residents, both of you are foreigners, so you'll need to immigrate to the United States. This one, the principal applicant is a foreigner or is not in the US or is not a US citizen or a green card holder, but then their spouse are US citizens, and in other words, you'll not be required to enter the information. Divorced, you need court papers from the court that states you're divorced, and then widowed, you'll need something like a death certificate, and then legally separated. If you have court order that says you're separated, you have a choice of not entering. So if you don't want to enter your spouse's information, the questions about your spouse will not, like when you click next, the questions asking you to provide information about your spouse will not be there. So you won't be required to provide any information on them. So for our case, we'll just select married, and my spouse is not a US citizen or a US lawful permanent resident. So number of children, we'll just put 2. And then let's click submit. I just realized the other form does not go to the next section, so we'll use the old one, but it won't allow me to enter the information. So I'll just be explaining. So we entered 2 kids here, and then we click continue, and then when you click continue, it's going to bring you to this page here where you're supposed to enter your spouse's name. So you see the last name, the first name, and the middle name, and if they don't have a last name, you just click no last name, no first name, or no middle name. So you enter your spouse's information just the way you did with your application. Again, here you enter the birthday, the day, the month, and the year. Select their gender, and then a city where your spouse was born. Just make sure you are entering birth city only. Do not enter a district, do not enter a county, do not enter a province, do not enter a state. And if you don't know the city, you can check this box here and make sure, if you check this box here, this one is left blank. And then you're gonna go ahead and select where your spouse was born. So your spouse can be from the same country as you. If they were born in a different country, you have to select the country where they were born. And then here you have to enter their picture. So you'll just browse, click this, it browses, it takes you to where you saved in your computer, and then you just enter it, upload it there. And then for the children, the same thing. You enter the last name, first name, middle name. The birthday, the same thing. Their gender, and if your kids were born in a different country, it's still okay. So you enter their city here. If you don't know the city, just says birth city unknown, and then the country where they were born, and then you have to upload their picture. And then you do that for all the kids. And once you finish and you're satisfied, make sure you double check the form. You go back all the way up here. Make sure your education level, your names, your gender, birthday, everything, you go back and go over every question to make sure that you answered correctly. And usually what I do before I click submit, I go and copy all this, which if I was in a real application, I can just press down on my mouse and drag. You just select all, and then you send it to yourself as an email. So just in case you need to go to an interview and then they need to ask you the questions, you'll still have the same response. Or if you have to complete your DS-260, then you'll have this form. So you'll try to match whatever is on this form into your DS-260. Now a lot of you are wondering, I won the green card lottery, but how did I find out about the program? I found out about the program because somebody posted a link about it on Facebook. So literally I had a friend on Facebook and she posted about the green card lottery, and then I applied and I won. So what am I trying to say here? So if you know that you have access to this information, it's important that you share with your family, your friends, and everybody else. Because even if they apply, it won't reduce your chances of winning. Everybody has an equal chance of getting selected. So even if you send it to them and everybody applies, it won't reduce your chances of winning. Everybody has an equal chance of getting selected. So I'm just gonna go over real quick on how you can share my videos with your friends and family. And you just go here. Like if you see now, I'm using my phone to watch my video, which is playing in the background. So what you're gonna do, you see down here, it says share. So you're gonna click on the share. And then once you click on it, it brings you this thing here that says copy the link. And then, so you're gonna go ahead and click copy the link, and then your link is copied. And then after that's done, you're gonna go to your Facebook. You can either X out of that, go to your Facebook, and then create a post. And then once you create a post, you can just create and say hashtag apply DV lottery. Just like that. And then you're gonna click enter and hold on to your screen and paste the link. And make sure up here you select public so that all your friends and people who are not your friends can still see the information. And then after that's done, then you just click the post right here. So you just click post, you're gonna see the link right here. So for anybody who they don't know how to find the information, once they click the videos, they will just learn about the green card lottery and apply. And the reason why Nigeria is not eligible for the program is because a lot of Nigerians are in America. And you know why Nigerians are in America? Because they like each other. They share information. When somebody finds out how to get a scholarship, finds out how to get a green card, they go back home and they tell everybody. So the reason why they're successful is because they share information, which somebody gets information and they don't want to share with their neighbors, they don't want to share with anybody. But sharing is caring. Sharing won't reduce your chances of winning. So make sure you either share on your Facebook. Another alternative, you can go to Twitter. And then you go to Twitter. And then you just create a post. And then you say you can post the link you just copied. And then you can say hashtag whatever country you want. You can do Kenya. I can do Congo if I wanted to. And then you just tweet. And that way it gets to a lot of people. So in other words, what I'm trying to say, if you get something that can help your neighbor, helping your neighbor is not going to reduce your chances of winning or reduce your chances of getting successful. Normalize sharing information with your friends and family. Thanks for watching.